Set in 1953, the story begins in the vast wilderness near the Arctic Ocean, where nature is showing its cruelest side. A group of Inuit preparing for winter is suddenly startled by a shadow. In the distance, a man limps toward their camp, nearly frozen, dragging his numb feet through the snow. Let's rewind to 3 months earlier. Far from the polar cold, in Yolo, Nevada, inside a bar thick with cigarette smoke and loud laughter, we meet Charlie Halliday. It's his birthday, and Charlie is celebrating with pure arrogance. He's a skilled pilot, handsome, and feels like the world is at his feet. In the middle of the noise, a homeless man enters and accidentally bumps into a triumphant, drunken Charlie. They lock eyes for a moment, but to Charlie, the man is nothing but dust.
Hell, how about this? Here, you got enough now, okay? Let's go.
The next morning, Charlie wakes up late, his head heavy from the alcohol. He's late for a key meeting with his boss, Walter Shepard, and some high-profile clients. His boss warns him, "Don't let our clients down." However, a stubborn Charlie asks for a few days of personal leave after his mission is over. After some negotiating, Walter finally lets him go, on one condition: Charlie must constantly report his location. Charlie's journey begins. His task for the day is simple: deliver supplies to the north in his small plane. After hours of flying over a monotonous landscape, Charlie lands on a remote coast. There, he meets a group of Inuit. They are sincere people who, without much talk, help Charlie unload his cargo. They invite Charlie into their tent. This is where Charlie meets his destiny. In the corner of the tent lies a young girl named Kanalak. Her face is pale, her body is frail, and her cough sounds incredibly painful. The family desperately begs Charlie to take Kanalak to the city to see a doctor. Charlie suspects she has tuberculosis, a deadly disease that makes him hesitate. Plus, his cabin is already packed with cargo. He suggests the family just head back to their village. However, the Inuit know how to negotiate with a man like Charlie. They pull out a pair of exquisite, highly valuable walrus tusks. Seeing the treasure, Charlie's eyes light up. For the sake of the ivory, he finally agrees to fly Kanalak to the city. What was supposed to be a short trip turns into a nightmare. Mid-flight, the engine suddenly sputters and starts smoking. Charlie panics. He fights the controls with everything he has, but gravity is stronger. The plane goes down, crashing into the vast marshes in the middle of nowhere.
November, I'm an hour and a half south of Fremont Gold, loaded junk.
Charlie survives, but his head is covered in blood. As he climbs out of the wreckage, he feels nothing but rage. He curses the engine and feels like his world is ending. But then there's Kanalak. The girl he thought was dying climbs out calmly. Without a single complaint, she simply grabs her fishing gear and starts looking for food in the freezing marsh water. Meanwhile, Charlie tries to fix the radio, but fails miserably. In a fit of frustration, he smashes the device and hurls it into the mud. He decides to head out for help alone, leaving some supplies behind and telling Kanalak to stay at the crash site. Charlie promises to send a rescue team for her. Even though Kanalak wants to go with him, Charlie insists on going solo. But the Arctic isn't Nevada. On the first night, Charlie fails to start a fire. He is freezing, starving, and losing his mind. To make matters worse, while trying to cross a lake, he loses his rifle ammunition. Now, he's just a desperate man carrying an empty gun. On the other side, Walter starts to worry. Charlie has gone radio silent, so he immediately sends 2 pilots, John and Carl, to search for him. Back to Charlie. His condition is pathetic. He suffers through nightmares and faints in the middle of the tundra. After being swarmed by thousands of vicious mosquitoes. Just as he thinks he's dead, he wakes up feeling warm. It turns out, Kanalak found him. The girl he left behind had actually tracked him down and saved his life. Kanalak tends to Charlie's wounds and feeds him. Slowly, Charlie realizes this girl is far tougher than he is. It turns out Kanalak knows a bit of English, and in the silence of the Arctic, they finally truly get to know each other. Meanwhile, John and Carl arrive at the spot where Charlie first landed his plane. All they find are the remains of an abandoned campsite. John immediately assumes the Inuit killed Charlie and destroyed his plane. Carl, who never liked John anyway, doesn't buy the theory for a second. Back to Charlie and Kanalak, their bond shifts from strangers to brothers in arms. Charlie begins to learn the Inuit way of survival, how to read the wind, track animals, and hunt. However, back in the city, hope is fading. Walter is ordered to expand the search, but John, the cynical pilot, keeps pushing to call it off. He feels searching the back river area is a lost cause. Walter eventually calls Charlie's mother to tell her the truth. One afternoon, while Charlie and Kanalak are resting near a lake, Charlie wakes up to the sound of crying. He sees Kanalak's condition getting worse. Charlie's face is filled with disappointment and a sense of helplessness, feeling there's nothing he can do to save the poor girl. In the air, John and Carl continue their search over the back river. But John gives up quickly. He convinces Carl that the conditions in the back river are too harsh and that it's impossible for Charlie to still be alive. Carl wants to keep looking, but eventually caves under John's pressure. Meanwhile, Charlie hears a search plane flying right above him. He runs as hard as he can, screaming until his throat hurts, trying to signal them. However, the plane turns and flies away. They decide to keep walking, occasionally singing to lighten the mood. Back in the city, it has been 3 weeks since Charlie was stranded. Charlie finds another plane wreckage from the past. Inside, there's nothing but bleached human skeletons. Charlie finds a functional rifle and wants to take it, but Kanalak stops him. She insists on performing a simple funeral ritual for the stranger's remains. Kanalak tells him about Turkil, the spirit that carries the souls of the dead to the eternal hunting grounds. She explains that the deceased must bring their hunting tools so their soul can be at peace. Charlie, who once only believed in money and logic, is touched by Kanalak's spiritual wisdom. He begins to see the world through a different lens. After a long trek, Charlie and Kanalak finally make it back to their downed plane. Charlie is momentarily hopeful, praying the rescue team left some supplies behind. But there is nothing. The crushing disappointment causes Charlie to lose control of his emotions. He lashes out in a rage, saying they have no chance of survival and are going to die right there. Kanalak remains silent, then tries to approach him and offer food. Still frustrated, Charlie tells her to leave him alone. That night, Kanalak performs a prayer ritual by herself. Charlie has a flashback to his past as a fighter pilot, but this time, in his dream, Kanalak is there to comfort him. Nature doesn't give them much time. The real winter has arrived. Charlie tries to stay optimistic, hunting and telling Kanalak about the beauty of the city, about ice cream, and all the luxuries he'll show her later. But Kanalak's condition takes a sharp turn for the worse. She keeps coughing up blood. Her small body can no longer fight off both the disease and the extreme weather. In their final nights together, Kanalak tells a story about a little girl who lost her parents to starvation in the snow. Her parents died so the girl could live, giving her everything, even their own blood. From that story, Charlie finally understands the scars on Kanalak's hands he had wondered about. This girl is an incredible survivor, but now her energy has run out. Back at Charlie's home, his family has given up. They hold a memorial service, assuming Charlie is gone. But out in the tundra, Charlie is still fighting. He carries Kanalak, who can no longer walk. He does everything he can, covering her, keeping her warm, and whispering words of encouragement. But Kanalak knows her time is up. With her last bit of strength, she wipes away Charlie's tears and thanks him for being her friend.
Not very good boots, but
The next morning, Charlie wakes up to find the spot beside him empty. Kanalak's footprints lead out of the tent and into the snowstorm. He follows them, but finds no one. All he sees is a white owl flying low, as if guiding her soul away to a more peaceful place. With a broken heart, Charlie builds a small stone grave. He places Kanalak's hunting gear there, making sure his friend has everything she needs for the world of Turkil. Charlie is truly alone now as he continues his journey, until finally, he reaches the Inuit camp we saw at the beginning of the film. He made it. But a piece of him remains at that stone grave, with Kanalak.